Okay, so what I'm doing is I got the not A sample and I'm trying to color it. So I've got this here and you can see there's a lot of red modeling through it, and I've gone a little bit grayer scale. I'm in the 2.5Y page, and this part right here is the matrix color, or the main color of it. But red, that's that iron moving through the profile because the pitted is wet on a normal basis. So now all I'm trying to do is match where this is based on these chips. So what I do is I'm putting it as close as I think it looks like to the chip. So this one, and you want to make sure it's moist as well. So in this one is pretty moist from compared to being completely dry. As you can see, there's some around that are drier and they start turning white, but you'll get a truer color. So this one is probably the 2.5Y 4-1 chip. So if you read that, this is a dark gray. So then you go to your sheet. So you go to your sheet and start reading through which ones it is. So we've got uniform brown, dark brown. No, so this wasn't brown. So we get all out of the browns. So then we go down to this letter C, grayish brown or olive gray. No, it said it was dark gray. So this one does have rust, so this is an option for us, this letter C. So we did have redox features, or those mottles, or those red spots. So if this one isn't it, and we'll check, but that might be an option. Or we've got this gray with redox features. Uniform gray may have bluish green, so we don't have bluish green, so it's definitely not B. And black, nope. So we know it's not that. We have to answer something for one of these two. So it's either D or A. And then we'll answer none of the above for the answer that didn't have an answer. 4-1, and since it's a 1 chroma in the book, then that makes it the gray, not the grayish brown. The 2 chroma would be the grayish brown. So then we marked it. So it isn't this grayish brown, so it's none of that first number 8, so it's none of the above for E. And gray with redox features, so it's letter A. So because it doesn't have a blue cast yet, and we're not black. So it's letter A of number 9. The B horizon still, and right now I've got a sample from the bag of the not A, or this is actually the B horizon. But so what I did is I dipped it in the water, and I've been working it up for a bit, and now I'm ready to do my ribbon. I'm trying not to lose it in the water. But as you can see, this holds together fairly well. There, it just broke. But this would be a moderately fine. So this would be a silty clay loam. It's got over 27% clay. You can make a pretty fine ribbon with it. The reason it's breaking apart a little bit is because it's dry. But it starts getting that sheen to it. It sticks together fairly well. So your B horizon here in this hole would be a moderately fine, which makes sense. That it holds water better. Different properties about the soil kind of starts making sense that you would get the medium over the moderately fine.
Okay, we're trying to determine the slope of the ground. In order to determine the percentage, we have to take the elevation change and divide it by the length. So you measure out the length of your distance that you're going to measure. We use this machine, which is called a Trimble, and it is a GPS unit. It gives us sea elevations. And we take an elevation at the start of our measurement, and we take an elevation at the end of our measurement. From those two elevations, then we can determine what the difference of the elevation is. And we divide that difference by the length that we measured. And then we multiply that number by 100, and that gives us the percentage of the slope.
So we have the sheet all filled out now, and you'll be getting copies of these. But this is a bottomland position, so we are right next to the stream. There isn't really much of a slope. We measure it, and it's 0.8 is the difference. And if you multiply that out, it is 1.6% is your percent slope, which is nearly level. So you are on a bottomland that is 0 to 2% slope. Your color, the topsoil, is dark. You've got a 10YR21 color. Is there an E horizon present? This is a zone of loss. It's usually very white. No, you don't have one of these in this soil. So thickness of the A, it's thick. It's 18 inches thick right now. Texture of A, when you texture out the bag sample, it's a silt loam with 20% clay, which is a medium. B horizon present, yes, at 18 inches you hit the B horizon with a color of 2.5Y41, which is a gray color. It does have redox all through it, so it is, you don't hit it in the B, so that is none of the above, or in 8, so it's none of the above, but it is a gray with redox features. So in 9, it is letter A. For 10, this is the texture of the B. This was, and I didn't write it on here, but I will, it was about 28% clay, which puts you in the moderately fine category. It was a silty clay loam. Soil depth, this is deep, more than 40 inches. Granted, you would get wet, but it is a deep soil. What is the soil parent material? This is alluvium. It's coming up from the stream. So alluvium is river wash soil. Sorry. What native vegetation? This is prairie. Surface drainage, this is slow. It doesn't have many places to go around here, and it doesn't have much slope. What is the drainage? This comes from number 9, and it is poorly drained. It isn't quite blue, so it isn't very poorly, but it's that gray with the mottles, or the redox features. Erosion class. We told you that the original surface was 20 inches. So this is uneroded or slightly eroded because it's less than 25%. We told you on the flags that it was non-calcareous, so the answers for 17 and 18 are both no. Stoniness and rockiness, there aren't any here, so the answer is no. All right. So we are at pit 1, and we're on the second side of the sheet now. So number 20. This is talking about land capability class, and since we have the water in the pond, it does have some limitations due to wetness. So that would be a 2 or a letter B for that. So then we have 21, land capability class would be none of the above. Then to go along with the wetness, 22, we don't have an erosion, you'd go in order. And since we don't have a slope, we don't have erosion, but we do have the wetness because we have the redox and the water. So that would be a letter C. So this would be a 2W soil. So then productivity potential would still be high though. If you could get this drained, this would be a really good soil for growing crops. So that is pit 2. Surface drainage. Yes, it would be a good thing for this. Subsurface drainage, yes. Grassed waterway, we're not in a drainage way position, so that would be a no. Contouring, it wouldn't be helpful down here because there aren't any slope, so that would be a no. Strip cropping, also same reason, would be a no. Terracing would be a no. Conservation tillage, since we're on such a low slope, it's going to be a no. Bedrock, there isn't any, so it would be a no. Evidence of water table is a yes. Flooding, is a yes. Shrink swell is a yes, because this is a medium, moderate, fine. Bedrock, for limitations of septic, would be no. Flooding is a yes. Evidence of water table is a yes. Source of topsoil, suitability, yes, it's suitable. Thickness of A is suitable. Evidence of water table is actually not suitable. Not modeled until 18 inches, only dark. So there aren't the models, they aren't in the top 12 or 18 inches, so it would not be suitable. So these are the answers for pit 1. We're going to move on now to pit 2. So we are on pit 2. This is the one as you go up the hill from the driveway just to the east. So we are in an upland position, and if you did the flags, the flag 1 was 1029.3, flag 2 was 1026.4, and it was a 50-foot difference or distance. So the percent slope would be 5.8%, which would put you at moderately sloping, or letter C. So moist color, number 3, would be moderately dark because you've got a 3-2 color. E horizon present, no, there's no zone of loss here. Nothing that really shows you that you're losing color and the horizons are going white at all. So that would be a no. The thickness of this soil, so you are moderately thin. You're 5 inches, and letter C. This is a loam for number 6. You've got 18% clay, which is a medium, or letter C. Pre-horizon present, yes, definitely. And the color of this is a 10YR44, which is a dark yellowish brown. So you are a uniform brown or dark brown and strong brown, including olives or yellowish or reddish cast. So we don't quite have redox features here, but we do have that yellowish cast, so I went with B. So it doesn't have those. The number 9, we weren't gray at all, so that was none of the above. Number 10, texture of the B. This is a clay loam. If you notice, there's a little more sand in this pit. We're in a zone where it's not quite as silty as the pit 1. But you've got about 30% clay, which is a D, moderately fine. This pit is deep, so you've got more than 40 inches to the depth. As I was saying, and we've got a sample of it. Hold on here. Is that it? Oh, over there. So this is glacial drift, and if you didn't see it, these were poking out in various places, but you see the rock and the sand in the soil. So this is glacial till or glacial drift, and that would be letter A. All right. So native vegetation, we've got a transition because on the flag it said the original surface was 10 inches, and so the transition is 6 to 10, so I put that as letter B, transition. Surface drainage, crop ground, this is in crop ground, and we're saying that there isn't really good cover. He's transitioning to that, but we aren't quite there with this landowner yet, so it's still a rapid surface drainage since we're in the over 5% slope. As I was saying, the color, we're in the well drained because we're in the uniform brown category, so we're in the letter B. Erosion class, like I said, the original was 10 inches. We currently have 5 inches, so we're about 50% of the original, so we're in the moderately eroded category. On the flags it says that there's no calcareous, and for the A and B, and the stoniness and rockiness, we saw a few stones in it, but there's not enough to call it just really stony. We had to work to find those just to show you that it was glacial till. All right, turning it over. Land capability class. So this one would be severe limitations because of the slope. We have between 5 and 14%, which puts it at letter C. So since we answered that, then 21 would be none of the above. Then 22, the subclass, since it has slope, it's letter E, or it's E, erosion, and the answer would be B. Productivity potential, between 5 and 9% slope, so it's a medium productivity potential, so you would have a B. Evaluations of management practices. Surface drainage would be a no. Subsurface drainage is a no. Grass waterway, we are not in a drainage way, so this is a no. Contouring, yes. Strip cropping, yes. Terracing, yes. Conservation tillage, a yes. You'd all want to do these on a 5% slope to try to hold your slope. All right, suitability of soil for non-agricultural use. Bedrock, we didn't have it. Evidence of water table, no. Flooding, no. Shrink swell, yes. We had, it was that medium and moderately fine. So bedrock for septic tanks, no, we don't have to worry about it. Flooding, no. Evidence of water table, no. Source of topsoil, this is all within the top 40 inches, so you have to remember that. So texture group, since we had the medium and the moderately fine, that's not suitable. Thickness, since we were 5 inches, it's not suitable. Evidence of water table, it would be suitable because we didn't find any redox. So that would be your pit B. And we'll move on to pit 3. All right, so we are at pit 3. This is the one that is farthest away from the driveway. So we are in an upland position. And if you did the slope flags, flag 1 was 1047.7, flag 2 was 1052.4, and it was a 50-foot distance. So the slope is 9.4. So you were letter D, strongly sloping. So then we've got moist color. We've got a 10YR32, which makes it moderately dark because of the value. E horizon present, there is no zone of loss here, so no. Thickness of A horizon or AE, you have an 8-inch horizon here, so you've got a moderately thick. Texture of the A horizon, this is a loam soil. You've got sand, silt, and clay. Clay percentage is about 25%, so you've got a medium soil. B horizon is present. Color of the B is a 10YR43, which is a uniform brown, which is letter A. So if we've got one for that, then we don't answer for 9, so that would be none of the above. 10, texture of the B horizon. You've got a clay loam of 30%, which puts you in the moderately fine category. Soil depth. This is deep again, more than 40 inches. It is also glacial drift, local settlement from glacial drift. So we have rocks again. We have some calcium carbonates lower in the profile, but none where you were judging. So native vegetation, since we were over 10, we were back in a prairie. We had it as 12 original inches on the flag. Surface drainage, this would be rapid. Since you're in, this is still the little cover, he crops this. They're trying to switch over, but since it's a 9%, over 9% slope, you would be rapid. Internal drainage, since you had a uniform brown, strong brown, there wasn't any models, so you would be excessively drained, so that would be A. Erosion class, so this is where you had the original of 12, the current is 8 inches, so you had 67% of the original, which falls between 25 and 75%. So you are letter C, moderately eroded. We called this not calcareous for 17 for the surface and 18 for the surface. We didn't check it. It may be, but for the purposes of this contest, we just told you that it wasn't. So stoniness, rockiness, there are not more than 15%, so that is a no. Going to the second side. So this is the second side of pit 3. Question 20, we talk about land capability class. Because of the slope, we are at severe limitations, so letter C. So since we did that, we don't have any answer, so it would be not applicable or none of the above for letter 21, or number 21. The subclass, this is because of slope again, but you've got an erosion problem. So this would be a 3E soil. Productivity potential would be low because it's over a 9% slope. Okay, now we get into management practices. Surface drainage would not be a problem. Subsurface drainage wouldn't be a problem. Grassed waterways were not on a drainage way, so that would be a no. Contouring, because we're over a 9% slope, I wouldn't recommend contouring, so that would be a no. Strip cropping, that would be a yes. Terracing, a yes. Conservation tillage, a yes, all because we're not above 18%, so those are still good conservation practices. 31, we aren't to bedrock for building sites with houses with basements. So there is no bedrock, so that's a no. Evidence of water table, there wasn't any redox, so we said no. Flooding, no. Shrink swell, so it was a medium, moderately fine, so that would be a yes. Limitations for septic tank absorption fields. Bedrock would be a no. Flooding would be a no. Evidence of water table is a no. Source of topsoil texture group. So it was medium and moderately fine, so it would not be suitable. You'd want all medium or coarser. 39, thickness of A. We only had 8 inches. You need 14 inches for it to be suitable, so it's not suitable. Evidence of water table, we didn't see one, so it would be suitable for that part. And this concludes Pit 3.